Hello, this is Sunil Sunder Raj with Jersey Sporting News. Tonight, I'm happy to be speaking with Jimmy Ciarlo, a senior outside linebacker and captain on the Army Black Knights football team and a graduate of St. Joseph Regional High School in Montvale, New Jersey, and cornerback and free safety on the Green Knights varsity football team. Once again, Jimmy, thank you so much for taking time out to speak with me tonight, and congrats on your success.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the congratulations as well.
No problem. And let's talk about the 2023 season here so far, Jimmy. You're second on the team in tackles here with 20. The team is off to a 2-2 start, facing Boston College this upcoming weekend, October 7th at Minchie Stadium, which is also Hall of Fame weekend. Named one of the 4 team captains this year. Can you talk about so far, how everything is panning out for you here?
Absolutely. I mean, what you just finished with being elected a captain, it's not something I take lightly. It's really a huge honor of mine. It's something that I take really personally. I don't want to let these guys down. I remember going through the years here, really relying on the leadership from like the captains of the team, really looking up to them. And I've kind of being able to fill into their role has been a really great experience for me. And then also being able to be the role model for the rest of the guys on the team. But another thing is it's not just the 4 of us that are role models, and that's what's so special about this place is a premier leadership institution. So I mean, all of our juniors, seniors, are guys that the younger classmen look up to, that like they really lead this team well. So we really have no weak links in that regard. Like we have a lot of strength in leadership, so that's never an issue. So that's something that this program really prides ourselves on. So that's something that we've always been able to do effectively.
Yeah, no, excellent point you made there, Jimmy. Can you talk about this defense so far? Just in terms of, again, you talk about the leadership, the experience on this team as well. So what the defense has brought to the table so far as well.
Yeah, we're really just getting started. I think we've done a lot of really great things, but I think it's evident that there's really some things that we need to fix up, myself included. So we're kind of working in that progression, and I'm really proud of the way guys have progressed and paid attention to detail, like in the week since the beginning of the season. So you could tell in everybody's effort at practice how the mentality is, has been there to win games, and we want a successful season. So seeing the young guys fill in roles, I mean, I could run off names like young safeties, young D linemen, young linebackers that are really stepping in roles and doing well. I'm really proud of the way they've progressed. But, we're just focused on playing fast, playing intentional, playing with great effort. And I think, we're really going to like the outcome at the end of some of these games coming up, the end of most of these games coming up.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you have a prolific offense. I was looking at averaging, 30 points per game. So that's got to be great, knowing that you're balanced on both sides of the ball here, Jimmy.
Absolutely. And our offense faced a lot of scrutiny after the first game against ULM, not being able to produce as much, but they've taken that personally, better than I've seen any offense take it. And they came back the next week at UTSA and put on a clinic, running the ball, passing the ball. So we're really proud of the way they've responded. Our quarterback, Bryson Daly, obviously a leader on the team, in the face of adversity, being able to accomplish that the next week, and he's continued to do so. So I'm proud of the way he's led the offense and the way that the guys on the O-line have been fighting in the trenches really physically. And the offense, same as the defense. We've done a lot of really, really great things that we plan on sustaining for the rest of the season, and just focus on getting rid of those, those missed assignments, poor fundamental plays. That's really what's been hurting us. But we've really seen that glimmer of what we can be. So we're excited about that. That's what we've been trying to focus on.
Yeah, definitely a lot of potential there. And let's talk about last year. You played in all 12 games, registered, said 55 tackles. Can you talk about, what you built off from last year and then coming into this year? Obviously, said a very, successful year last year in terms of your individual statistics there.
Absolutely. I mean, so you're just talking about personally, not as a defense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things we try to work on in the off season. I have a great position coach, great defensive coordinator, Coach Luce, my position coach, Coach Woody, my defensive coordinator. And so they play a huge role. The competition in the room too, as well. Chance Keith, Josiah Banks, Ella Medozi, these are like young Apaches who really push me to do better. I think that healthy competition is really about been what's driving me to push my game to the next level, I feel like. and then Coach Luce, he really just, it's a guy who knows football really well. He's been doing it for a long time. He's seen it all. So he's been able to provide me like the knowledge and the drills I've needed to really take my game to the next level, I feel like. So he's allowed me to play faster this year. He's allowed me to tackle better. I mean, everything all around the entire game. So I really thank him for that. And I think him and the other guys in my position group are responsible for, kind of the betterment going into this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to talk about those first couple of years, of your career here for the United States Military Academy and playing for the Army Black Knights football team. 2020, you said you played in 4 games. You played your collegiate debut against Middle Tennessee State. You played in the Liberty Bowl against West Virginia University. Can you talk about, that how special that was that first year and being able to play in a bowl game as well, Jimmy?
Yeah, that was a great experience. Especially at the beginning of the season, not thinking I'd have the opportunity to be on the field. And now I only got snaps on special teams that year, but that was just as much a privilege as any. I got a lot of experience through that, mentally and physically. But so, going through that year, it was a crazy year with COVID. So a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
A lot of guys went down. A lot of guys got sick. So being thrown into those roles, a little bit chaotic, but something we really pride ourselves in this program. And it's part of our culture is being able to perform well on special teams and stepping into that role, physical, and being displaying a lot of effort on special teams. Like our special teams coordinator, Sean Saturnia, we all look up to him. But his saying is, we don't have to do this. Some programs look at special teams, we have to do it. Like we look at it as we get to do it. It's a third of the game. So he instills that in us, and being able to play on there was a lot of fun. And still I'm on punt, and I've been playing special teams through the years, and I've really enjoyed it, especially under Coach Saturnia. He's been a great mentor, great coach.
Yeah. That's terrific. Yeah, just contributing in all facets, and then following that up. And I think what's most impressive is your durability. In 2021, played in all 11 games, played in the Armed Forces Bowl against Missouri, and the fact those first 2 years, back-to-back 9-win seasons as well, Jimmy.
Absolutely. We had great leadership on those teams. We had great players on those teams. I really give props to our coaches as well. All around things that we try to emulate every year. But yeah, guys on those teams I really, really look up to. Malcolm Morrison was a guy who played my position before me. Was an Apache, which is what we call our outside linebacker position here. So a guy, he taught me a lot, fostered me into this program, and all through, set me up for success, taking over when he left and graduated. Andre Carter is a guy, he's playing for the Vikings now. So he was on the opposite side of me, just graduated last year. He played outside linebacker on the other side, but another guy I really look up to, hard worker. We really owe it to those guys, the coaches who set the tone for what this program needs to look like in terms of setting standards and discipline, and how we're gonna approach everything on the field, off the field, in the locker room, in the weight room, and that's directly contributed to how we've been able to succeed, win so many games.
Yeah, no, it's great to hear. Hey, I have to ask you, you have a couple, you said really important games, and it doesn't get any better than Army and Navy. So at a new location this year, December 9th at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And then before that, November 4th, versus Air Force at Power Field at Mile High, in Denver, Colorado. So I have to ask you about those games. I said it really, in terms of the visibility, and it just facing off against another military school. Talk about how, again, it's got to be just a thrilling experience. The adrenaline pumping. I said through just describe what that's meant to you. Just playing in those games.
Yeah, absolutely. The rivalry runs as deep as any for any game in the world. Especially when you look at the fan base, the alumni, the military. So you got the branches of the military. So the Navy, Army, Air Force, that's a wide span of people all across the globe that have, that take part in that fan base. This isn't just, one college or going back to, high school rivalries, one high school. There's a really large fan base. So having people come from all over, and, people are watching it overseas, different places, really means a lot. And the atmosphere is really electric. It's unlike anywhere I've ever played. And I've had the opportunity to play in some really cool really cool environments. But I'm glad we get to change it up a little bit. You know, we're going to be in Colorado for the first time. We've been playing at a neutral location the past 2 years versus Air Force. In my freshman year, we actually played here during COVID against Air Force, and then also against Navy. And then outside of that, we were in New Jersey at MetLife, and then we were at Philadelphia last year against Navy. So being able to go up to Boston will be a lot of fun. You know, really just I think people would travel well over there, and just being able to play in a different environment, just really cool experience. So really thankful for that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, I wanted to switch it up. You know, it's just not being an athlete, it's being a student athlete, and said majoring in systems and decision sciences. So talk about, you know, just in terms of time management, organization, you have a lot on your plate. You know, I'm sure, like, you know, from morning to, nighttime, it's not easy, you know, said, especially, you know, for the United States Military Academy cadet. Talk about that, Jimmy.
Yeah, time is probably the hardest thing to get here. So being able to manage your time is probably the number one thing you have to develop when you get here. And that just comes and you know, some do it better than others, and I'm still managing it, trying to do better and better at it each day, get ahead on my academics, get ahead on different things in my company, you know, which is down, you know, where I live. You have a company, you live with about roughly 130 people. And so you do different things. You have a job in that realm too. So you do different things for that as well. So we're here just 2 more minutes. No, you're good, bro. So what you got, grab something? No worries. 0. So managing those different things, you know, really it's just come as trying to find time during the day, trying to find time like later on in the weekend when we're traveling, get some of those academics, bang those out, certain things like that. But definitely time is one of the primary focuses in being successful here.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, I read an article there. It said online that you know, in 3rd grade, it said there was an entry about you being a football player and, you know, wanting to be in the Army. You're from Ringwood, New Jersey, which is located 45 minutes away from West Point. It's a dream come true for you, Jimmy.
Yeah, certainly. I really envied service members at a young age, through my cousin, who's just a little bit older than me, but we really looked up to his older brother who was serving with the 82nd. I had an uncle who's a JAG Corps who's in the JAG Corps in the Army. You know, now my brother, and then so that one cousin I was talking about, the original one who had the older brother, he ended up serving in the Navy. I got a brother now in the Air Force. So definitely our family's prideful of service. So it's something I looked up to and idolized at a young age. And so that's something I knew I wanted to do. And, you know, as a kid, you enjoy playing sports too. So
yeah,
simple formula for me, football and the Army. And I'm able to do both here. So I've really been enjoying it. And like you said, it's come true for me.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear. And, you know, it said prior to the United States Military Academy, West Point, you know, New York, you attended also 2019, the United States Preparatory School. Talk about that as well, Jimmy, you know, just, you know, starting from there and then, of course, moving to West Point there.
Yeah, of course. So where I'd start is telling any high schooler that they got to do an extra year, a gap year, something that they certainly don't want to hear. But I mean, immediately I adapted my mindset, and being able to meet my teammates early on, build relationships with them, I knew that it was going to be something that I needed to do. And adapting, especially to a place like this, learning how to, you know, like I talked about before with time management, learning how to cope with the academics and the structure of the school was really beneficial to me. Putting on mass in the weight room, getting faster, things of that nature, was really beneficial for me. So going there was a great experience. And then, you know, now looking back on it, I'm now in my 5th season with, you know, guys playing football, and you know, I couldn't ask for more. So, you know, that was definitely a great experience for me. Building those relationships really primarily is what I'd say, you know, is what made it all worth it. But great experience at the prep school.
It's outstanding. Hey, a couple more and then I'll. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
A couple more. I'll let you go, Jimmy. I just wanted to quickly switch it up to, of course, St. Joseph Regional High School in Montvale, New Jersey, playing for the Green Knights varsity football team and head coach Augie Hoffman. You know, wearing that number 2 jersey. I said, you know, that state championship title in 2018. You know, shutting out Bergen Catholic 13-0. Ending, said your high school football career on a pinnacle, on a high note. Just talk about I said your time there at St. Joseph Regional High School.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly have a ton to say, and I won't be able to get to it all, but it was a privilege to be able to serve as a player under Coach Hoffman. I mean, he really pushed us. He was, mentally, he demanded, plenty from us mentally and physically. And he's really the first person other than my dad, who taught me how to be a man. So I have a ton of respect for him, and I'm prideful being in that organization. Then the second thing was that it was really a privilege to play with the teammates that I had, and how competitive they were, and how they helped foster the culture there and building a true family. And to tell you a little bit about the competitiveness, it's really awesome to see where they're all at now. I'm sure you've probably seen, but Howard Cross, seeing what he was able to do this past week against Duke. I think he had like 13 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. Seeing that's awesome.
Audric Estime.
Audric Estime, of course. Running for the Heisman. I mean, the list really goes on.
Yes.
Then we have Luke Whippler, who's in the NFL now. I mean, the list goes on. Everyone went to great schools. We got people who went to Penn State, Brown, Harvard, different places, Rutgers. I mean, the list really goes on.
Yeah.
So seeing them out doing what they're doing and seeing them successful at the schools that they went to has been really inspiring. And then the league itself was also really competitive. Being able to play against Bergen Catholic, they were a tough team, and I really respected. And it took until graduating, because you take that rivalry really, really seriously.
Yes.
But it took until graduating to really appreciate the type of culture Coach Campanile built over at Bergen Catholic. And so we had the opportunity to play against him. He's at Syracuse now as the tight ends coach. So, I was able to tell him that after the game. So a lot of respect for him as well. So being able to play against teams like that, and, it wasn't just Bergen Catholic, playing against Don Bosco, playing against those teams, DePaul, Paramus Catholic, really solidified that competitive nature for me, being able to play against teams with that much talent. So I had a great experience at St. Joe's. It was really awesome.
Yeah, can you just talk about the support from the administration, athletic department, the student body? You know how the student sections are, and especially with the non-publics. As said, you talked about St. Joe's, Bergen Catholic, Don Bosco, Paramus Catholic, DePaul Catholic, St. Peter's Prep, but just especially St. Joe's, that support system there, Jimmy.
Yeah, St. Joe's is one of the smaller of the bunches. I think when I was there, we had a rough estimate about 600 kids in the school. So you really know everybody, or you get the chance to know most of the school. So like I talked about before, just having that family culture was really awesome. Yeah. You see them in the stands rooting for you on Saturdays, and they traveled every game. I mean, I had an awesome experience. I think it was due to the student body primarily, and I had great support from the people on the staff there as well. Great teachers all around. I mean, I had an awesome experience there. I thought it was a great school, and I'd recommend anyone to go there.
Yeah, definitely.
In all facets.
Hey, can you talk about the support from your family, in this journey here, Jimmy?
Absolutely. This is something that as soon as I had the opportunity to go here, as soon as I let my dad know, he was over the moon. He just knew, just from what comes with the name of a military academy. Kind of like the prestige, I guess you could say, with that. So he was really excited for the challenges I'd be able to face here, and he thought that it would be able to develop me into a good leader and a good man. So they really supported me all the way in this decision. So yeah, no complaints there. As soon as I told him, I said I want to come here, he said, that's it. I got to talk to any other schools. That's it. So they supported me in that.
I know you've been playing football for a long time, Jimmy, but what are some of the intangibles that stand out to you about the game that makes it so special to play? And, just year after year, you come back, to play it.
That's a good question. I would say the number definitely my teammates. If you were to single one thing out from the game that's really makes it desirable, that really makes me want to come up here every single day, it's to be with my teammates, being able to experience the suffering, the joy, the sweat, everything in between. I'd say it's my teammates, 10 times out of 10.
Hey, before you get the final word and message here, Jimmy, I wanted to ask you, just with the younger kids and athletes, if they were watching this interview, what would you say to them, just in terms of not only playing athletics, but and just trying to move up the ladder? You know how competitive it's out there. Today, there's so many pressures, and with academics, but also social media out there. But just what would you tell them, in terms of trying to figure out, where they fit in terms of athletics?
I would tell them that, not to be too cliche, but I would say that everybody's journey is different.
Mhm.
I've seen a whole bunch of different paths. Guys who found success early and then, catered off later on in their career. I've seen guys who took for their senior year to start. Johnny Radigan started a linebacker here as a senior, never played before, except special teams, and now he's playing for the Seattle Seahawks. Andre Carter, who's now playing for the Vikings, who we were talking about before, sophomore
Mhm.
year when he was starting in his first games, they didn't know if he could do it. He was making mistakes, and and then to see how next year he came back and he set the school record for most sacks in a single season. I think it was 15 and a half. Is that 15 and a half? Yeah. So, I mean, like, unreal progression. And just a year earlier, they didn't know if he'd ever be able to play, if he would ever be able
Yeah.
to be on the field. So I would say, and and like I said before, I've seen people who've been able to play at schools as a freshman, and then a few years later you don't hear about them again. So I mean, everybody's journey is different. You really gotta stay the course, and no matter the adversities you're facing in the beginning, I'd say, like, to ride the course, and you'll find success if you're consistent, and you're disciplined. I'd say that success will favor you in the long run.
Yeah, well, sound advice you offered, Jimmy. Hey, I wanted to give you the final word and message here for family, friends, coaches, and teammates on the Army Black Knights football team, United States Military Academy, and St. Joseph Regional Green Knights football program here, Jimmy. I'm sure there's some people you definitely want to thank here.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think I've talked about all of them at some point. I really,
Mhm.
every coach I've had, my high school coaches, uh, Coach Williams, Coach Tony Williams, who was my corners coach in high school, Coach Hoffman, who was my head coach in high school, my position coach now, Coach Luce, Coach Woody, who's defense coordinator, Coach Monken, Coach Saturnio, guys I really look up to, and then my family's been a huge support for me, um, my friends, and then all the players who I played with uh, in high school really pushed me, and then all the players I play with now, I have the privilege to play with. That's probably everybody, but they've really encouraged me to be push me into the place I'm in now. So I really have them to thank for that.
Sounds good. Hey, Jimmy, a true honor and privilege being able to speak with you. I said not only about your high school football career, but here, I said in college as well. With the Army Knights, Army Black Knights football team. Wishing you continued success. The rest of the season, and looking forward to talking to you down the road as well.
Absolutely, sir. Me as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.